Hello my dear students, I welcome you all to your history online class. So in today's online class, we will proceed with the same chapter from your world history with chapter number 8 when we talk about decolonization of the African countries Ghana as well as Kenya. So you have seen the two parts of the video of this chapter talking about the Ghana as well as the second part where we discuss regarding what were exactly the role played by Kwame Nkrumah in order to make his nation Ghana as one of the strong as well as powerful, and lots of steps also were taken by him, but ultimately which also resulted as a failure. But in today's class we will talk about one more African nations known as Kenya, where we see the leader Jomo Kenyatta, what kind of role was played by him or how he wanted to make even Kenya as independent nation similar like Ghana and staying away from the British Empire. So let's start the class. First we will see with the 8.2 Kenya conflict and the independence. From the year of 1947, the year where our country got independent, till 1969. So within this 12 years of period, how Kenya stood under the colonial rule of British government, as Kenya also was very much rich in kind of those raw materials where Britishers were wanting to take to their own nation. And talking about the first background. So background plays a very important role where we need to know about that nations, how they were, what kind of facilities or what kind of degradation started coming in that nation. And we see especially the background of Kenya, that after the World War II in 1945, how the British government, the Britishers, they were already the winner, they were also declared as a superpower after the end of Second World War, and then they targeted Ghana and followed by this nation Kenya. And when Kenya was targeted, we see that how they were also a decolonization, putting their complete power, colonial power over Kenya as well as other Asian countries too. And we see that how Kenya also felt, the citizens of Kenya felt that there was completely a racial discrimination, humiliation as well as exploitation done by the British Empire. So that was a strategy taken by British government in order to make African nation Kenya dominating part, degrading part, or how to suppress this small nation. Next we focus on the neocolonialism, which means that their economic control was been through Commonwealth. That means the powerful nations, where we see a organization of all the powerful countries under the Commonwealth. Like for an example, if you talk about the combination of more than 10-20 nations, like good example is known as UN, United Nations. After the end of Second World War, it was formed. So similarly, there were also a Commonwealth nations, but not like UN, like 193 nations. There were hardly 50 to 60 nations, and overall the economic system of Kenya was also under the control of this powerful nation. And then we focus on the two types of organization or union was formed in Kenya, KANU and KEDU. So KANU stands for Kenya African National Union as well as KEDU stands for Kenya African Democratic Union. And overall both these organizations, they had a leader whose role was very much important, great leader, mainly thinking for his nation Kenya, and his name stands as Jomo Kenyatta. After the independence of Kenya, he became the first president of Kenya. Next we focus on that how the British government along with this KANU, they made a particular agreement, and later on Kenya was been declared independent on 12th of December 1963. So how lots of agreement, a peace treaty was been formed between KANU as well as British Empire, and overall independence was been given to Kenya in 1963. So that brings a lot of changes, that how Kenya from 1947 they went struggling, how they have been humiliated, how they have been discriminated, dominated, exploited, and later on the year 1963 was very much crucial as well as important year for all the Kenyan citizens as they got independent. Next we focus on the topic that is Jomo Kenyatta's role. That means what was exactly the role or the contributing part of this leader Jomo Kenyatta for his nation Kenya. So first and foremost we see that after independence, how under the Kenya nation, Jomo Kenyatta stood as one of the head of the state. He also was the head of the government and obviously the head of the armed forces, the defense forces that was under Kenya. Next, we focus on the gradual Africanization, that how he also wanted to make lots of nations a good relation with one or the other African nation, and he started putting a lots of different kinds of ideas, his thoughts, agreement, making a meeting or conference, and that was also a kind of gesture by him to unify all the African nation. And in order to unify the Africanization nation, we see they were mainly the first step taken by him was for the three countries, Uganda, after that followed by Tanzania and Kenya. But this was unsuccessful because of the thought it was not matching or some kind of action which hurted the other nation, and there was not such kind of successful in making the African nations under one umbrella in the formation of unity. Next, we see that Jomo Kenyatta also formed East African Community in the year of 1967, which was beneficial for all the African nations, the African continent, the nation who came under this continent, and it was very much crucial one. And later we see that even he put a full stop on all the political parties that existed in Kenya. Only one political party which was been under Jomo Kenyatta, and rest all the political party was been put to a banning process, or it was been put to a full stop. And the last, that is known as, there were lots of social tension that got increased, and then rapid population, lack of unemployment, and what kind of education that also started degrading. So overall lots of problem that also came after Kenya became independent, as Jomo Kenyatta stood as a leader. But overall we see the steps taken by him, what kind of later on like industries, factories was being set up, or a kind of actions or the implementation which could be really beneficial for the Kenya country after independence in 1963. And he formed different types of action also was taken by him with a new organization, a form of African community, and many other, and that was overall the gist as well as the effort or the service by this leader Jomo Kenyatta. So overall this was the summary of their Kenya, one of the African nations, the topic as well as the leadership, or what kind of role was played by Jomo Kenyatta. I hope you have understood today's lecture as well as the explanation that I gave you regarding this topic. Till then, stay safe. Thank you and God bless.